I added up what it actually costs me to run my AI agency every month. And the answer is not $20 for ChatGPT. My current setup costs around $700 to $800 per month. If I count hardware and setup costs, it gets closer to $1,000. And yes, you can technically start much cheaper. Probably around $100 to $200 per month if you keep your setup simple. Because the real cost changes depending on how you plan to get clients. Outbound, inbound, or both. So, this video is not, this is what every AI agency costs. This is what I actually pay, what I would pay if I was starting cheaper, and where the costs start to add up. Here's my current rough breakdown. For AI tools, I pay for Codex, Claude, Gemini, and sometimes OpenRouter. That is around $430 to $440 per month. This is not the minimum. This is me being honest. I like testing different AI tools, I use them a lot, and I choose speed. Then there is outbound. I have around 21 inboxes for cold emails, Smart Lead, Apify, and sometimes paid lead lists. That part is roughly $250 to $320 a month, depending on what I bought that month. Then we have infrastructure and content. BPS, domains averaged monthly, Canva, the script, things like that. That is roughly $70 to $120 per month. So my current operating cost is around $700 to $800 per month. And I'm probably forgetting about a few small things, because every month there is a charge I swear I cancelled. The important point is that this is not the minimum to start. This is my current setup because I'm trying to build a product, learn fast, do outbound, and build a personal brand at the same time. Important disclaimer, I am not counting client-specific variable costs here. If I am building an AI receptionist, costs can change depending on calls, minutes, APIs, support, extra infrastructure, and the exact project. If you have 10 clients, the cost structure is not the same as just having one. So this video focuses on just baseline operations. What does it cost to have the tools, the distribution setup, the content workflow, and the infrastructure to actually run the business? And the infrastructure to actually run the business, also I'm keeping hardware separate. Most people already have a laptop. If you don't, yes, the initial cost is higher. But I don't want to pretend the Mac is a monthly software bill. The Mac doesn't wake up every single month and ask for a subscription. At least not yet. If I was trying to start as cheap as possible, I wouldn't copy my stack. I would pick one serious AI tool, something like a $100 Claude plan, or one serious paid AI tool you can use every single day like Codex. And honestly, I think that the $100 plan is already enough for you to start doing real agency work. You don't need 4 AI subscriptions. I have them because I use them a lot and I like comparing tools. That is not a requirement. That is just me having no self-control around AI tools. I just like them too much. But there is a big condition here. If you are starting with $100 to $200 per month, you probably need warm contacts. You need friends of friends, local businesses, or at least someone willing to let you build your first case study. Because if you have no warm contacts, no audience, and no trust, one domain and one inbox won't do much. For a cheap start, you can use one AI tool, free docs, free CRM, basic emails, manual outreach, and maybe a cheap domain. But the point of starting cheap is not to spray messages everywhere. The point is to stay manual enough so you can learn what people actually want. Then you can automate once you understand what is working. The trade-off here is time. You save money, but you do more manually. More research, more outreach, more follow-up, and more trial and error. So the cheap version works, but you should expect to pay with hours. The second tier is outbound-first. This is if your plan is cold emails, cold DMs, scraping leads, enriching leads, and trying to create opportunities directly. Now your cost is not just AI. You need inboxes, you need domains, you need a sending tool like SmartLead, you might need lead data, and you might need scraping tools like Apify. Depending on how serious you get, this can go from a range of $250 to $600 a month pretty quickly. The good thing here is that once you have the system built, this is really high leverage. You can scrape, clean, enrich, and send without doing anything by hand. But the setup takes work. The part that nobody tells you is that cold emails is not just about writing an email. It is also deliverability, inboxes, domains, DNS, lead quality, and a lot of stuff that makes you ask, am I selling or am I doing IT? The third tier is inbound first. This is YouTube, X, posting, replying, making useful content, and building trust before people buy. The software here can be cheaper. You can do this with one AI tool, Canva, the script, and a decent microphone if you're recording a video. That can be around $150 to $300 per month. But the time cost here is serious. If you want to upload often on YouTube, it is very easy to spend 5 hours a day just on ideas, scripting, recording, editing, thumbnails, and recording the same sentence 14 times because apparently speaking is a skill now. Then if you also do X, replies, learning, and business work, 8 hours a day starts looking like the minimum, not the ceiling. This is why inbound is not free. You are just paying with your calendar instead of your card. My setup is the hybrid version. I am using strong AI tools. I am doing outbound. I am trying to build a personal brand. I am making YouTube videos. I am using scraping and automation. And that is why my cost is around $700 to $800 a month before counting hardware, and closer to $900 to $1,000 per month if I amortize the Mac, the microphone, and the setup costs. Then we have the Pro version. If you add an editor, assistant, ads, more data, more inboxes, more software, and more infrastructure, this can easily become $1,500 to $5,000 per month or more. But at that point, you are not just starting an AI agency. You are buying scale. And buying scale too early is how you end up paying more people to still not know what works. For hardware, I would keep it separate. If you already have a decent laptop, start with that. If you are doing a video, a better microphone helps, but you don't need a cinema setup. You need people to understand what you are saying. For annual payments, I would be careful. Domains, hosting, and boring infrastructure can make sense annually if you know you will use them, but I would not pay for AI tools. The best model changes too fast. So, my advice is simple. Start with one strong AI tool, pick one acquisition path, and only upgrade when a tool saves real time, helps you ship, or gets you closer to clients. Because spending more can buy you speed, but it can also become a very polished way of avoiding the hard part. For me, the point of the spend is simple. I am betting on myself. I am buying speed, infrastructure, and more shots on goal. But the goal is not to have the best stack. The goal is to make the agency work. If this was useful, subscribe. I don't usually make videos like this, so if you appreciated the transparency, liking the video helps. And if you know someone who is about to start something like this, send it to them. That probably helps more than another video telling them they can start an AI agency with one ChatGPT tab and positive energy.